Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, it's Money and Credit Crunch incoming, ladies and gentlemen. Again, don't worry, you still have 1 year and 5 months to work it out. But wealth building the old fashioned way. You earn it. And welcome, SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know who's going to be out here needing some help. You never know who's not even looking for help, but realize there's help financially and many other ways right here, right now. That's why you got to share the videos. Now, first things first, make sure that you also check down below in the description box because it's money and credit crunch coming. So, in order to make sure that your credit is good, shouldn't you have a credit monitoring system? I think so. And that's why down below in the description box, you will see smart credit as a way to get it done. Smart Credit actually checks all three credit bureaus for you. It has the FICO 8. Want to get an automobile loan? It has your hiring index score. It's a beautiful thing. And the most important part of all is the way that they're going to have the insurance. So you guys will have identity theft coverage for you if you signed up with Smart Credit, and everybody in your house that has the same address as you is covered up to $1 million. That covers a lot of people. So that's why you join Smart Credit, plus other factors such as on time payments. So you would think on time payments is your due date. Wrong. The best time to make a payment during your month, they track it for you. It is not the day that your monthly amount is due. It's actually before that because a lot of credit cards now and credit card accounts, they have daily interest accruing. Aha. So see, it's better to pay earlier than later during the month. That also is with Smart Credit. If you want to improve your credit, then there's something down below as well. I'll add a few things as this live stream goes on, but you can get some self credit, credit strong, national credit, where you can get some trade lines, have on time payment on, and that helps you improve your credit score because you'll need it later because this crunch is going to come. And those of you who have that magical number of 775 and higher, you're going to be rewarded. So start working on that. Time is of the essence because money is about to change. Today, the Genius Act was brought into the United States to alternative currency. Stable coins are here, ladies and gentlemen. You realize stable coins are not real. They're just like stocks, a piece of paper. That's what stable coins are going to be as well. But that will allow you know who, the rich, and those of you who have some of the assets to borrow against those. That is actually using money out of thin air, This is not good. You're hearing it here from me. I do not go down with this. This is bad because sooner or later, if you don't have that stable coin or crypto coins that are going to be associated with it, imagine being blocked. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We have a lot to talk about. Don't worry. You're going to be prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see who's in the house tonight. It looks like Omar E. Omar L. Salute to you and welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Now, I want to point out something else because, of course, the old fashioned way is the stock market. The stock market, of course, we're going to have down below in the description box where you can get some free shares of stock. It's not like it used to be. Cost of acquisition is now a little bit higher. So the only one that gives you shares of stock, just one, I shouldn't say shares, it's not plural, is if you sign up with Robinhood. All right? So Robinhood is the one where you download their app, you're going to get one free share of stock. Webull, on the other hand, gives you 5 shares of stock, up to 15 fractional shares. Now that's a whole different ball game. You do have to deposit $100 or more, and then they will give you free shares of stock. And then your third option, you know who that's going to be. Moo Moo. MOOMOO. You have to deposit $100 or more, and they too will give you free shares of stock. All right. So hopefully it'll get you guys started on the old fashioned way that I've been talking about and we've been talking about here for the last couple of years. Now, the Crypto Genius Act, again, for the record, this is harmful. I do not count this as a good thing. If you were one of these companies that can get the stable coin, create a stable coin that the government is going to back, hip, hip, hooray for you. You're the chosen one. Everybody else, let me explain something to you. You know the dollar bills that you have in your hand? That means you have full control over what you want to purchase. If you turn that into a crypto product, you do not have full control. Because if you can't pay for something, you can't use it. If electricity is lost, you can't use it. It may not even be accepted worldwide, but don't worry. The United States holds the preeminent banking structure. So this right here is a bypass to the banking structure. This is going to be the Wild Wild West, in my opinion. I don't care if you're talking about, what do they call it, laws. It's not going to matter because how to control it when other countries are also going to do the same thing. Other people are going to come out with their own ETFs offshore. So now what's going to happen? And at the same time, you trading actual dollars, US dollars, and changing them into some electronic dollar, you are now devaluing the dollar, the US dollar, not in circulation. You guys, this is not, in my book, a good thing. So you're going to have to be prepared inside the US and outside the US. I'm calling for everybody here in the SSN Nation, do not get short sighted. You have to be worldwide at this point. You need to have accounts outside the US, inside of the United States. There's several different ways you can have accounts. I don't care if it's a debit card from outside the United States, but you need something outside of the US. I'm going to say again, if you have not hung around anyone from China, if you haven't been to China, I'll put it to you another way, how they control their system. If I run a red light That $25 fine, let's say, that $25 fine, the government has already taken it out of my account. All right? This is what's happening there. This could easily happen here once you are in a digital format. So be very careful what you wish for, but you know we're going to try and take advantage, ladies and gentlemen, right? We're not going to sit on the sidelines. We're going to have XRP, right? Even though that hasn't have nothing to do with the top six that they're going to so-called choose. But hey, we're going to have some fun. Don't worry about that. All right, EV Place. Another investor's here. He's already worldwide. He's taking the challenge. He's taking the heat. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Good evening, everyone. It's Friday. Let's make some money in here. And you know what? It was Friday. You know what happened today? I didn't hear anything. I didn't get any notifications. I got nothing. I didn't hear anything. It's Friday. It's Yilmax ETF, Defiance Group ETF. Dividend payouts are supposed to be on Friday, but I got no notifications. I wonder what's going on, but doesn't matter. Here we go. Omar L. I saw China is blocking their people with CBDC. Exactly. He's right. This is what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want this thing about United States, the land of the free. You can just drop that off now. Just stop. We don't have a constitution. We don't have the land of the free anymore because United States citizens are getting kidnapped by mass men right now, and they're not the good kind. So you got to think about what else is going down. You strip away Medicare, you strip away Medicaid, you strip away other health care, you strip away getting food for the elderly, food for the youngsters, the kids. Now all of a sudden you start shrinking who has and a whole bunch of people who will have not. So the other thing that I should mention right now, along with your 1 year, 5 months, I would suggest you packaging some food in a nice, cool place, cans the old fashioned way, like your great grandparents or your grandparents used to tell you stories about what happened during the Great Depression and afterwards, where they had canned food, jars of food, having to prepare everything and make sure they can store it for long term because you couldn't just go down to the grocery store. Remember those stories? I don't know if you guys heard these stories. I was fortunate enough to hear the stories where they didn't believe in banks. They kept their cash under mattresses, in walls, in safes. All right. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Want to know something else that happened? Money and credit crunch is coming. But speaking of kidnapping United States citizens, there's a reason why when somebody says you should have a voter ID, the reason why you want to have a person have a voter ID, or in this case, a real ID. Do you realize while they're kidnapping United States citizens, some of them have shown here's my real ID. Look, I'm a real US citizen. What are you doing? It's fake, sir. We don't believe you. Chop, chop, throw it away, handcuffed, in detention. That's exactly why they didn't allow it before for voting. Because when you come in, the voting system, the people would say, I'm sorry, no good, I don't believe you, to stop people from voting. It's already happened in the past with that. Now they're doing it with real IDs. See how this works, ladies and gentlemen? Next, they'll be saying your passport is no good, which I've already told you already. There's already been citizens that have had their passport also at customs saying it's no good here. And you can't leave either. All right. I hope you guys are going to be prepared, but all I can do is tell you the stories. Get yourselves prepared. So, how do you get prepared? Real estate in another country goes a long way of being able to stay past your 60 or 90 days and work towards residency. I'm just saying, having a bank account in another country where you have money coming in, that can also get you residency. Forget citizenship, residency works as well. Stay. I'm just saying, give yourself multiple opportunities, not just one, ladies and gentlemen, while you can. The window is closing on what American citizens are going to be able to do unless you're one of the wealthy and rich people on the planet. All right, here we go. My phone went crazy just before you started. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear it because I didn't get no bings or nothing about. I checked 10, 15 minutes before and I was like, that's weird. Normally, every Friday, like clockwork, it's bing, 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 but not today. Thank you for letting me know. I have it on silent now, but we'll find out. Again, everybody, this is your warning. Again, there's certain things I'm not going to be wrong, unfortunately, on this. I told you guys the middle class and upper middle class is going to be wiped out in 5 years. It was the middle class. Upper middle class is now. It's already started. We're a year in right now. So that was going to be 2.5 years. So we're at a year and a half. So you got 1 year and 5 months to go. And the upper middle class, in case you don't know what I'm referring to, 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. After this next reboot that they just did, it's going to be 90. I'm sorry to tell you, in a year and 5 months. So 2 years really, but I always give us a runway shorter than what the situation is going to call for. So you'll be prepared. So make sure you got to figure some passive income opportunities start slimming up, even on YouTube. Now, already been demonetized, so it's no big deal. But now they started saying people that do AI voices, you're not going to be monetized. They started putting out a list of who's not going to be monetized on YouTube, for instance. Other social media platforms are going to follow suit as well. Why? Why else? They're going to just keep the profit for themselves. Of course. That's why they're doing it. Let's get real. They're using us, whoever puts any information on the platforms, they get ad revenue. They share it, but now all they have to do is take away 10%, 15%. That improves their bottom line. And they'll keep going because that's what we do in a capitalist system. You squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. You just wring it out until there's hardly anything left. They don't really care about you as an employee. They don't care about you as a entertainment figure. They don't care about if you're bringing money to them. They figure we'll keep squeezing because they pay you. They pay me if I was getting paid. So they can cut that off anytime, just like they did with me. They said, we don't like your rhetoric. I was like, I don't know what channels you're listening to. Heard a lot worse. I'm like, this is funny. But this is what we got, ladies and gentlemen, out here. Exactly. I'm glad to hear that because my phone hasn't went nothing all day. In fact, you know what? Now you got me curious, EV Place. Because I was sitting there like, man, what? This is something. Did something happen? Something must have happened because I'm sitting here like nothing. Oh, yes. Oh, it came out late. I got some bing, 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 bangs now. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yes. Notifications all came up in the last hour. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, this looks beautiful. By the way, I don't know how you guys are sitting out idly by Yield Max ETF, Defiance Group, and dividends every Friday, weekly dividends and monthly dividends coincides with every Friday for YieldMax ETF and the Defiance Group. And if you like getting 30, 40%, 50% or more returns, then you have to do the high risk, high rewards, while the high risk, high rewards are giving you great returns. We're having August 1st in 2 weeks. Trump is going to do, that's the deadline for some new tariffs to kick in. The market went down slightly today, all because we have a lot of chaos going on. Imagine if everything was beautiful. All this chaos wasn't happening. Imagine if there was no tariffs. If everything would have stayed level, the stock market still moved to all-time record highs in one S&P 500. Imagine if everything was stable this whole time. It would even be more glorious. And the Federal Reserve would have reduced their interest rate at this time, at the end of this month. Now they may not, because inflation is nowhere near 2% year over year. It's at 2.9% and up, because once you include food and energy, it's around 7. So the Federal Reserve, by all rights, should not be reducing the interest rate, the Federal Reserve rate. In fact, they should be increasing, because remember, they're supposed to increase the interest rate or the Federal Reserve rate whenever inflation is above their 2% area. It's above 3%. So, what are you supposed to do? Increase the rate. There's calls for this administration saying they should reduce the rate. Well, how this works, Econ 101, if they reduce the rates while there is inflation, that means there's more inflation. And also, there's another thing. If the economy is hot, for whatever reason, it keeps going up on the stock markets, then you have to increase rates, because they're not going down. Nothing's going down. So just be cautious out here. Do not be shocked if they do the unthinkable, which apparently they're trying to get rid of the upper middle class with post haste. If they reduce the interest rate, it's still 1 year, 5 months to get your stuff correct. There will be a run up on the stock market like you have never seen, but also prices are going to be unbearable. It's going to break. In case you missed the video, I presented this today. I suggest you go watch it. It has to do with real estate. Builders aren't building. They have started to stop building. Plummets to a 5-year low. You know why? Because they don't have buyers. It's hard to have buyers for 500,000, 600,000 or up homes. You have to make $150,000 or more as a household income. A lot of people are getting laid off from Tesla and Microsoft and a whole bunch of these tech companies who routinely make over $150,000 a year. So once you start eliminating those people, now you've lost those buyers. You've also lost 80% of buyers, because 80% are living paycheck to paycheck. So you really have something like 10% of the population, which is still 30, 40 million people, are going to be looking to buy for what, I don't know why. Because if you were to saw my real estate video, you also found out a lot of people cannot buy homes now because the insurance rate is so high. As one reports, it was $7,000 a year for her home insurance last year. Her renewal is 12. $5,000 more annually, which now $580 to $1,000 per month on top of your mortgage. And then what happens when the taxes come? The tax people say, oh, you got to pay extra as well. So now your note is, let's just use a $2,500 note. Now, instead of you're paying $3,000, $3,500, now you're paying $4,000, $4,500 property tax insurance. But wait, there's more. You cannot refi because you're over 6.5%. This is bad. This is bad. All right, let's get into something good because money and credit, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be crunch time. But you got to do damage while the damaging to make sure you get more money in your pocket while you sleep is good because the faucets are going to be turned off unless you're in position. And that position means a little gold, a little silver, a little crypto. There's no way around it, ladies and gentlemen. EV Place says the phone went crazy. He's saying after NVDY, PLTY, and Morrow paid out, I'm at 36%, 3 months profit in Yield Max ETF. Hey, you know I get excited when I hear this. I love it when the playbook, when the plan comes together. And EV Place is new. He's done 3 months. But look who else is going to be in the house. I've already seen on the list post-retirement travel. Over a year and a half, he's been investing in Yield Max ETF. And you know what he said last year? He's candid. I love this. This is what I love about here, the SSN Nation and its members and familia. I love it because candid. They're candid. They're not over here like shilling for people. He had to go to the IRS. Not the IRS. He's doing his tax returns this year. And then he got word because of his tax brackets and because of the money he made from the dividends, they were saying, I'm sorry, sir, you're going to have to pay this tax for all this money you've been making on these ETF, these dividends. He complained slightly. But then we had to remind him, all that free money that he got, come on now, be like Warren Buffett. It's no problem. It's coming in. You don't have to work for it. So if you have to give up a 15 to 20% of it, okay. And then now he goes on the worldwide tour, ladies and gentlemen. How can you go on a worldwide tour? Well, you better have some dividend or passive income money coming in. And he does. He has real estate too. But all of that combined, worldwide tour, no job to report to because he put in work for the last 40 years. See how simple it is? But that putting in work for 40 years now, oh my, for the kids, for anybody that's graduating from college, high school, who's 25 or 30 years old, it's a whole bunch of good luck because there is no way to know if there's going to be this here in America. There is no indicators because we're going to be at 90% are going to be living paycheck to paycheck here in the next 5 years. I'm telling you, it's already in stone. Tax cut, tax breaks, and we got to pay for the $4 trillion over the next 10 years. So taxpayers pay for it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go. I'm excited. I won't be on too long tonight, but our post-retirement travel, Mr. Worldwide, he has the insignia right now, and not the fake bald dude that took that crown. He ain't going worldwide. Mr. Post-Retirement Travel is, and welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline. He was doing the salsa dance, I know. Hello, all. Let's do this. That's what we do here. We want everybody in. By the way, if you need some help out there, findhelp.org. Put in your zip code. This works only in America, or you have to have an American zip code. You need help with something. This is nonprofit organization who receive funding from the government and from the state to help Americans who are here, that's what they do. So if you need help with something, go browse, find help. Our man Matthew Lesko left us that little gem, so that can help all kind of people. Post-retirement travel, stock market will explode towards the end of the year. Lots of companies' earnings to be reported fourth quarter 2025. Yes, interest rate will also be reduced. They were talking 2 cuts before 31 December. I know they were, but their target around 2% inflation is, we're nowhere near that. It's over. It's 9%. Next, well, they're going to make a decision, and I don't think it's going to be popular. I was on the side of they're going to reduce it 0.25. I'm not sure right now because it's 2.9% year over year for the month of June. And that's up from 2.7 year over year from May. So it's going the wrong direction. So this month it should be 3 or 3.1. But now they're going to have to make a decision a week before July runs out. But for all intents and purposes, it's going to be already over. It's going to be over 3% because tariffs haven't even really officially kicked in because of the pause on and off. We're negotiating. Then it's going to be August 1st, and they'll be, oh, we'll give you. I mean, this is insane. Meanwhile, the rich are getting richer. Stablecoin, Genius Act. So we're going to find out. It's going to be awfully hard to increase rates if inflation is moving. That are decrease rates if inflation is going up. That's the wrong way. They're supposed to be around 2.3, 2.1, 2%. That's the whole reason under Biden why they kept raising the rate, because it kept going up. They couldn't get it down to their target 2% is their target. But they were feeling good at 2.3, 2.2. They were like, oh, this is good. But then when we went to this tariffs against the world, hold up now, we got problems. We got volatility. And now they're economists. They know what's going to happen if you have tariffs. They know inflation's coming. So that's inflation. They know what happens when you cut tax breaks. That's inflationary. You threw in more debt. That's inflationary because debt is owed. If you do the 4 trillion, that's 700 billion annually that's owed from taxpayers on top of the 1 trillion already. So in a few years, it's going to be 1.7 trillion in interest only payments for our 41 trillion and counting deficit. So third world country is basically where we are. The Federal Reserve is trying to do their best not to get us into overdrive. It's going to be very, very bad, I believe. I will be smiling, paying 20% taxes for my targeted 100% annual profit. EV plays. That's exactly what's going to happen. You'll be sitting there like, okay, let me keep rolling. I'll keep taking it. Exactly. Can't get any way around it. And by the way, it goes by how much you make too. So if you can clock in where you don't make that much money, then you won't be paying 20% taxes on your ordinary income. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Don't worry. Tax break coming with this new bill that just passed. I can always say I was traveling for business. Report as job expenses. I need the billionaire tricks. That's correct. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for mentioning this post-retirement travel. See, when you own property outside the United States and you visit your property, go visit your business, or your business is your property, 2 for 1. It's my business. It's my property. I plan on renting it out. I'm having it built. I'm coming over here to make sure everything's fine. It's allocated once a year. No problem, Mr. Taxman. And let's face facts. Really have to worry about the tax man. Come on now. The guys that hate the tax man are in charge. They're the ones cutting the IRS staff. Let's get real. It's a beautiful thing. So Billionaire tricks, millionaire tricks, it works the same. So when you get on a plane and you go over to check out your business or your real estate project or your real estate, airfare going to tax write off. Oh, and by the way, speaking of this, if you're married, you can always include the wife as an employee of the business. So that's right. Both airfares are tax written off of my, well, expenses. All right. My expenses. So keep these in mind. I'm going to go somewhere. We're going to look, we're checking out the property. You're going to go eat somewhere. You know what happens when you eat somewhere. Well, what happens when I eat somewhere? I start discussing business just by accident because we're over there and I'm like checking out the property. I'm like, what do you think? Got to get some furniture? What do you think? Want to go get some measurements? What do you think? See all these things, ladies and gentlemen. This is what the Billionaire Boys Club does. You got to start thinking like a CEO. Stop thinking like a tourist, especially when you're going over to check your own belongings, your own business, your own properties, whatever it has to do with, those are write offs. Oh, and don't forget, you know what? I just got to give you guys some more, some more tricks. So, you know, for instance, post retirement travel, he's going over to the DR, right? You know what? Since I have a business, our annual meeting is going to be in DR. That's right. I'm taking notes. We're having a meeting because remember, I told you when we sit down and talk, I'm going to write down the minutes. This is what we discussed. You got to have that, ladies and gentlemen. IRS likes paperwork. That's right. So you put your receipts to it. You talk about what you talked about. You're done. Ladies and gentlemen, see how easy it is? Oh, yes. Don't worry about scrutiny. You'll be fine. Don't let them rattle your cage. Don't let them rattle you going, hey, man, we got to talk to you. No, it's on your guys' stuff, your IRS rules and regulations. It's all legitimate. I'm running a business. I got my minutes here. I got seats. We got who was here, who was present. What's it? I got the date written down and the time. What's wrong with you guys? See, ladies and gentlemen, you got to play like the big boys. Tax write-offs abound when you have assets. You know what else what starts happening? Here's what else starts happening. Once you establish that you are in the business of real estate, now when I take off and I go to France, hey, I'm checking out some real estate over here. I have real estate over there, so I'm over here checking out some real estate too. That's why I'm over here. Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean now? Yeah, that's right. Me and the realtor, we had lunch. That's right. I paid for it. You got it. It's a write-off, ladies and gentlemen. And my flight. Come on now. Come on, come on, come on. Get with the program, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Speaking of tricks, we got a lot of tricks. All right. We got a lot. Troflation is showing 2.04. It's not 2.04. Not even 2 point EV place. EV place. It's not 2.4. Okay. 2.9% inflation in Google. June 2024 through June 2025. Don't let them fool you. And also, it does not include food nor energy, which actually is above that. And by the way, that's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is the federal government, ladies and gentlemen. All right. You guys know how we do this. I have to bring you guys stats. Don't let these guys fool you out here. All right. I'm not saying EV Place is fooling you. What I'm referring to, there's other people saying things because they like to move things around. 204 may have been said, but the reality of the situation is, you guys know I like keeping it straight on the money right here. The core inflation rate, which excludes food and energy, prices rose by 2.9% in the year over year period from June 2024 to June 2025. All right. They're going, okay, so here's what they do, right? They go, the overall consumer price index also rose by 2.7% in the same period. So that they go with that, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is still 2.7% above what everybody was crowing about, that Biden economy was off the charts. Everybody was crying, right? It's higher than under Biden, is what this is saying. But now it's all good, apparently. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's higher than then. But here's the kicker: food and energy is actually another 3.4%. See, this is what they don't want to tell you while they're wiping out the upper middle class, because you might go, oh, 3% is no big deal. But in reality, it's higher than 3%. Nobody's getting a raise for 6%. Nobody's getting a raise for 7% just to break even. So you literally have to make 7 to 8. Forget that. Just go to shadowstats.com. We just do this right now. Forget that. Let's just go here. Sometimes I can't pull this up. Shadow Stats. Oh, yeah. Speaking of the devil. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let me see if I can get this. Shadowstats.com. The reason why you go to shadowstats.com is because it's based on the pre-1980s inflation correlations. All right, that used to do it before. All right, so when they start doing, look, here it is right here. Let me see if I can get this on this. Oh, is this? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Oh, wait, hold on. See right here, official CPI. They have different things. Now, this is through May. This right here is over 10%. Now, where's 2025? What's happening? Here we go. Nope, 2020. Oh, they stopped doing it. Is that what happened? Hold on. Shadow Stats used to be on point. So we don't know what it is. Oh, my. This is not good. We're not in 2025 anymore. Man, we got to see if Mr. John Williams is still doing his thing, because it looks like we're not doing it. This is not good. There's no 2025 here. Or is it? That's 4%. This is old school, 8%. Maybe this is 2025. I don't know. But yeah, we're definitely nowhere near it. Yeah, we are at 8%. 3 plus 3.4 is 6.4. And that still doesn't include some other inflationary numbers, but we'll stick with that. Yeah, that's only through May 2023. That's crazy. But anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're dealing with. Even other 8%, these numbers, the blue line, 6%, these are the real lines. So 6% is where we're at. That's why you can make a living at 9%. But anyhow, that's a whole nother story. All right. I see Shadow Stats is not a thing anymore. Damn it. That was always good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. So there you go. All right. Yes. Uncle Sam will remind you in April about all those dividends. All I can tell you, brace for impact. I've been trying to reduce my tax exposure, but unfortunately, it's only 2 of us. Oh, yeah, you can't do that. No, but you have other tax exposure. I mean, you can reduce it. Well, now you can easier because you don't have your W-2 coming in. So now you have real estate. All these times you're going traveling, those are write-offs. A lot of the write-offs, because you have shown you own more than one property. So if you go overseas, DR for sure, because you own property there. You go overseas to Europe, EU zone, you're looking for property, right? I'm an investor. You have multiple properties. So those are write offs. You got to mark it down, but so what? You're eating. When you go eat and drink, then write it down. Hey, this is what we were doing over here. This is what's happening. Here's the receipt. Come on now. It's easier now than before because before you had W-2 and then you had that earned income hurts. But when it's business, this is where you're hanging with the big boys because you want a bomba. So you won't get hurt. Now you have less profits. You can shield a lot of the profits. And don't forget, I think you still have a house or two. You can do your depreciation tactics as well. It's business, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. Post retirement travel from EV Place. I remember your story and I'm prepared for this huge annual dividend. Hey, that's it. That's how we have to do it, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a money and a credit crunch. By the way, there's always a way to fix things. You want your credit to get better, then go to debt resolution. You guys have heard of the rich guys. They go, oh, I'm going to file bankruptcy so I can have the debtors restructure my debt. Okay, you don't have to file bankruptcy. All you have to do is hit up Tracy at resolvefinance.com. And it's TRACY at resolvefinance.com. Let her know Eric from SSN Nation sent you. All right. That's all you have to say. Or SSN Nation. It don't matter. She knows what time it is. She knows familiar. All right. So I will put a link. I'll put the email in the chat room. You guys know we got to show some love, right? Got to show some love. There we go. Got to show some love. All right, Tracy, she's in there. Also, I'm going to have to put something down for in the chat room too, right? Because we want you guys to get yourselves straight without having to file bankruptcy and to have half restructured, a little more, a little less. It takes about 1 to 2 years. So that coincides with when you need to have everything in order to take advantage on the other side. Because when the meltdown happens, credit is your best thing going to use other people's money. But what happens if we have a credit crunch? Well, if we have a credit crunch, what happens is these things about having a 620 credit score, no, you're not going to qualify. 680 credit score, sorry. 720 credit score, not enough. 750, yeah, we come see you. You can come see us. We'll talk. 775 and up, you're still going to be good. And those are the people that can still maneuver in the credit markets. It's the other people with lesser credit that's going to have a crunch time affair. We don't want you on that crunch time affair. Because if you can't buy when things are bad, then you're not going to be in a good position. Just keep that in mind. All right. We don't want you in a bad position. We want you winning, ladies and gentlemen. And how do you win? Assets matter. And credit score is an asset. So if you're thinking about adding you to your debt right now, you should not. You should be trying to reverse it. Pay off your debt, get your score to 775 by any means necessary. All right? Just keep that in mind. Now, I have hold on, I got to do something cuz I see right now. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're good. Good, and good. Okay, got the video where she was on, where she talked about it a year or two back. So you guys can get an idea. The links are down below in the description box. I added Credit Strong and self credit if you want to get some installment type trade lines. So at least you have on time payments. So that can help you. Again, get your credit in order like yesterday. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. All right. At EV Place. Are you contributing to 401k? Check. You can open a self managed 401k with Fidelity and the HSA, both of which you can use to reduce your taxable income. Check. That goes for everybody. Exactly. There's ways you can do it. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Post retirement travel. There we go. He's getting into what you need to do, ladies and gentlemen. Also, don't forget, some of you may need a trust as well. I'm just saying. Some of you may need to shield some of your assets. Just saying. All right. Um, that there's several opportunities to get things done, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Tracy at resolvefinance.com. Everybody on podcast, you guys can hear this. Go there. The average U.S. citizen has lost over 25.55% purchasing power since January 2020, according to the Trueflation. Oh, that's a thing. Trueflation. Okay, I didn't know that. That's good to know. Um, I think it's higher. The reason why I think it's higher is because Trueflation does not take into consideration the dollar value decreasing. So this year, the dollar has decreased in 2025 10%. That means inflation is really plus 10%. But of course, we don't use that as a metric. But clearly, if the dollar buying power, as you have said, the dollar value has decreased 10%, that means things cost 10% more. They're not reducing prices 10%. In fact, it's a double edged sword. 10% dollar value decrease, 10, 20, 30, 40% increase in prices. That means 30, 40, 50% in prices. See how they do the mathematics when you understand that there's more to it than just inflation numbers, which, by the way, the Federal Reserve knows. That's another reason why they have a problem trying to reduce the federal funds rate because our currency is being devalued by 10% this year and down. And by the way, the bond market's still going to be at what, 4.4? Um, if no home, don't even, don't even. Just stick where you are, and you're going to have to buy some foreclosure. They're going to come. There's 212,000, 222,000 of them are now. Pre foreclosures, not that many, but foreclosures, 222,000. Second quarter, that's what we're up to. June 30th is the second quarter, right? April, May, June, second quarter, 222,000 foreclosures in the United States. It's going to keep going up because there's a lot of people who bought 2 years ago and they have interest rates of 7%, 7.5. They can't afford it. Why? Because their property tax went up and their insurance up. So let me put it in perspective. Let's just say you're lucky enough where you bought a home for, well, I can't even get to this because we already know the number. I did the real estate thing today. A $400,000 home is reasonable considered now. The problem with that is you have to make $100,000 to $135,000 to qualify for that. Six figures. That's what the range is. So that puts things in a problem when the average salary in America is 66,000. Two people, a household would have to afford that. So you can already see where this is going. So now you bought a home. The average price for a home is $440,000. This is last year and this year. So it's in that price point. So all those people who bought Do you understand how much your mortgage payment has to be? That's a third. So your mortgage payment on a $400,000 house is around $2,800. We haven't even gotten to your tax payment yet. If you're lucky, it's probably $400 or $500. 1.5% in most cases is what your taxes or your property tax is going to be. So that's 500. So you're at 3,300. And if all of a sudden the insurance guy, the home insurance guys start doing what they've been doing to people, yeah, well, you used to pay $300 a month, now it's 800. Now you're over 4,000. You see, that's much different than 3,000, 4,000, 4,300. So now how much money do you have to make to live comfortably? They let you move in with making 9 grand. But actually 50% of your income is gone just to pay for where you live. And that doesn't even include your electric, gas, and any other bills you have at the house, cable, internet. I mean, so you're at 50% gone. And on top of that, 20% of your gross is gone. You have a small window now. And that's what you're supposed to live on and make investments on. So now you understand why even people with 6 figures are being short. This is not rocket science. It's easy to see. This is why I've always said you live in a third world country, you don't know it yet because a lot of people don't travel in the US. So you don't know what rural areas look like. There's places in America that when people come from outside of America and they go to certain places, like the last time when the world came over to the US and they go to Alabama, they couldn't believe it. They said Alabama's like a third world country. I know there's people in Alabama that don't know they live in like a third world country because not all, it's the rural areas. They went to Birmingham. Okay. They saw a city. They went to Montgomery. Okay. They went to Gulf Shores. But what happens when they went to just ordinary driving around on the road? They were like, what do you mean? You live in a house built in 1920? This is what we're talking about. So they don't always go just to major cities. They go to where other people live. West Virginia, not good. Louisiana, not good. Then they started like, wait a minute, it's not just one place, it's more. Arkansas, go out in the rural areas. You guys are going to find this isn't what you think. Even in every state, there's rural areas. And then that's where you find out you have millions of people in rural areas. Some people don't even have internet still. Is this crazy or what? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, enough. But the point I'm trying to say is true inflation, 25.5% in 5. That's only 5%. I'm not believing this. I'm gonna have to go look at inflation, see how they're calculating because there's no way. Well, again, the reason why I say no way is because 5% a year inflation is not real. We know when the pandemic came, inflation was higher than 5%. We know after when 2020 came and 2021, we know it's higher than 5%. We know after the tax bills came, they were implemented in 2020 as well. So therefore, we know inflation kicked in. There was no way around it. And we know inflation was 8%, 9%. So there is no way it's only 25% in 5 years because the average is above 5%. In fact, I still have this on the screen. Check. This is the problem we have in America. See this blue line? 6% to 4%, right? Here's what we got. Look at this. This right here. is 2023, and that's above 10%. Even on the admitted red line, 8%, because they're including food and energy. We all know food is off the charts. Energy costs have increased, but nobody wants to talk about insurance and property taxes and all that. That's in there as well. So you can see easily there's no way. If I'm going to go, this is 20. Okay, I don't know what this zero thing is. There is no such thing as zero. We print money every time somebody buys a bond. We can't have 0%. But oh well. Um, More like 4%, because we were at a standstill, but things still went up. Houses increased, like, what did they do? 20% year over year in 2020. During a pandemic, houses went up 20%. 2021, homes went up another 20%. Again, where does that calculation, how does that work? That's not going to be in here. But again, I'll say somewhere around here is 2020. So even here, but 2021 and 2022, we're off the charts. We're talking about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's no way it's 25. If they said 35, I'd probably believe that over 5 years. That'd be a 7% average. That I would believe, but 25, I'm not believing. Now, what are we going to do with our dollar uh, losing buying power? What are we going to do about that? That's an actual equation as well. Our dollar is worth 10% less. Value has decreased 10%. So now that in itself is 10% inflation. So are we at 12.9? We're talking about this year only. So if inflation is 2.4, 2.7, 2.9, does not include food and energy, but yet the dollar value decreased 10%. Doesn't that mean 12%? Yes, that's what it means. That's exactly what it means. So, again, pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we're getting out. This is why we're getting our asses handed to us. This is why 90% of the population is going to be living paycheck to paycheck in a year and 5 months. We don't want you in that, ladies and gentlemen. Post-retirement travel, no. 401k, estimated retirement, 1K. If I will work 22 more years, hey, man, I don't want you working 22 more years, EV Place. You don't have to. You told me you have property, that you make investments, so you're going to be good. But, but, EV Place, go to Fidelity, get yourself a 401k, solo 401k. You're going to be in business, which is even better. But you get your solo 401k. Why? Because when you put money in a 401k, you can get up to almost $20,000 write off against your profits. So you're going to be reducing how much money you have coming in. That is the key. Because remember, the lower money you show as earned income, the lower your taxes. Even if it is on the earned income side from the stocks. If you can show that, hey, okay, I only made like 25 G's, 30 G's, because you were able to deduct. Now, all of a sudden, you've shortened how much you're going to owe, right? I'm just saying, there's a way to do it. Oh, and we're talking about it right now. And in fact, that you got to have a 401k. And by the way, the HSA can be used. It used to have to be used for a certain thing. Now it doesn't have to be. So again, that's a write-off. The only problem is, it's not really a problem, but it's still going to be earned incomes. You have money coming in and you put it in. But there is something else you can do. If you want to know, EV Place and everybody else, there's something else you can do. You can create an LLC. You work for your LLC. Your LLC can form a 401k for your business. Your business, when you write in your rules, going to match. I'll just say this. I am not a tax advisor. You better talk to one. We're going to match 3 to 5%. Don't get carried away and try to do 10% or 15 or 20. The IRS is going to be like, ha, 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 not going to work. It's not going to work. Just do 3 to 5%. That's what you're going to match. So now you have your company who makes money. You distribute money to you, right? So you're the company. You don't have to take any salary because you have other monies coming in. So you could just stack the money. Now you get money and you say, oh, I'm going to put in $1,000 in the 401k, company 401k. Now there's a match. I'm just saying, I'm just a messenger. Talk to your tax professionals. It's all legitimately in the tax code. Why do you think the rich keep getting rich? Come on. But he's exactly right. You got to do it, EV Place. You have too many irons in the fire. And it doesn't cost you anything. You probably already have a company already. So go get your 401k for your business, get a solo 401k for yourself. Then your business creates their 401k for employees, and you match 3 to 5% with the employee. So now you write off all the way around twice. Just saying. Just saying. This is how the big boys do it. All right. Joe Nay, another investor's here, chilling on the island. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday night live stream. And he says, I saw the trailer, smashed that like button, and I received a couple of dividend reinvestments. Bing, bing, bing. Exactly. We get excited on Monday night and we get excited on Monday because dividends from Yomax ETF and IWMY from the Defiance Group for me. Ching, ching, ching. Every Friday, they have weekly payouts on several of their shares from Yomax ETF, and others are monthly payouts. And monthly payouts have been very, very good to me and everybody else here. Very nice to see you, Joe Nay. Hopefully everything's going well. Speaking of another investor is here. Tamara Larry's in the house. And welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday night live stream. We out here talking about money and credit. And now she's here and she's on the hunt for her next investment scenario. So once again, very happy to see you in the house. And everybody, once again, thank you for watching and listening. Our chat room is open to everybody. Don't worry. If you have something to say for or against anything we're discussing, no problem. We always make sure we get to the bottom of it one way or another. So join us. Now, let's get back to the situation at hand with that money and credit crunch, wealth building the old-fashioned way. We earn it. The old-fashioned way is you make investments in your 401k, you save a little money, you buy stocks, you buy real estate, you rent out your real estate, you do a side business or you create a business. And then when you create a business, you create some offshoots where you can hide your money. Just saying. Creates taxable scenarios for you where you have deductions. The more, the merrier. So hopefully that helps everybody off. Now, the next level. Once you have these assets, you don't want them taken away. So what do? You put these assets in a trust. Now, I haven't been able to get into the trust scenario yet, but I guess I better start working on that. I've been like, I don't know, my little mojo hasn't been right. I've been trying to chill and relax, but I'll be working on that. That's my goal for you guys in August. All right. I'm going to have something from people that have done trust. They're going to send me something and then we're going to discuss it. All right. I'll make it easy. So we'll have links. You'll have the link. You can go pull down something yourself because you can create a trust yourself. Now, obviously, a professional might help you a little better, but it's basically just like your company. When you form a corporation and you write down your bylaws, it's similar. You just say who's going to be the trustee. That's the person that's going to actually be able to take care of the trust. You can more than, well, it could be one person, two people, but the more people, the more decisions, the more voting, the more bickering. All I'm saying. So you can have a trustee, beneficiary, pretty simple. The person that forms it, you can't be the trustee. Simple as that. Just saying. Because you can pierce trust. And that's one way you pierce a trust. It's just like no different than a business. If you have a business and then you start commingling between your personal account and your business account, and then if it goes to trial, they're going to go, look, he's over here using it like his personal piggy bank. So the judge will allow a piercing of your LLC or corporation. Same rules apply. You have to go with the format. Very simple. But here's the beauty. A trust does not have to be recorded. But then what do? You can have assets in your trust. Knows about it. You can also have a business trust, which that first trust controls the other trust. And here's the thing. The business trust, you're going to put an EIN number to it. So now your business trust can actually do business. So when you really start talking about some things, the big boys, you start putting money in your business trust. Remember that business 401k, your trust can have a brokerage account. So now you can put money in your trust, kind of like the Rockefellers, and they have their insurance policies inside as well. I can't get into that right now. There's books out there, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Be like the Rockefellers. All right. There's a lot going on, money and credit, and I got into the trust, but the trust is awesome. We'll talk about that in the month of August. All right. By the way, I probably should be in Vegas by then. So I'll have a lot of reading time. My aunt is still she's still alive. She's not on hospice anymore. She has some of the magic formula. It sort of works, but we still have a long way to go. She has 24-hour care. Why? Because of long-term insurance, long-term health insurance. That's a thing. She has Medicare and Medicaid. And that allows payments for staff now 24 hours a day to take care of her, help take care of her. The only thing now is we still haven't gotten the speech therapist and workout, but we're working on it. So that's a whole different coverage on regular insurance because they're in the military, so they have TRICARE for life. So that'll handle it once that can get settled. So in America, Medicaid, Medicare, which now they took some of the funds from, right? This could hurt the elderly. People who are in nursing homes may not have Medicaid coverage anymore or Medicare, both. That means where are these people going to be? What about the children who have lost their parents who receive Medicaid, Social Security? What's going to happen with their health care? Just saying, this is not a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. Not a good thing. AV Place. How about Financial Freedom Church? More benefits. Oh, don't even let me get. Oh, yeah, you could do that. You could do that. You want to do the 501? You're going to do the 501? Or you're going to try and do the trust church? I wouldn't advise it. I'm just going to say I'm not advising nothing like that. I know there's people out here that does some advice. They'd say some things like, do a do a what you're talking about. I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but they're talking about that in a trust for a church. Um, I've heard that before. People do that. They put a church as a trust. Yeah, it's, but again, these are why you would have to talk with professionals. All right, I'm not a professional, and it's on that. All right, post retirement travel says something interesting article in the newspaper. 35% of Dominican traveled within the country last year. That's internal tourism. Just need to figure out how to include these in your projections. Yeah, that's going to be hard. You know why it's going to be hard? Because if they're Dominicans, that to me, I've always looked at it this way. The reason why I never cared about that number was because I go with they live there or knows family. I'm not looking at it like they're going to vacation. And even if they are, it's not a significant number. So we don't know what the number is unless they tell us what's the 35% of Dominican traveled. What does that mean? Is it 35% of 100,000? 35% of 10,000? That's what we need to know. If they give that number, then we can figure it out and see if it's worthy. Because if they say something like 35% of 1 million, 1.5 million, now all of a sudden we talking about 350,000, 400,000 people. Now we got something to get a little more excited about, because then we're going to want to know the next few numbers. Where are they traveling to? Because that's our next, out of that 35, how many's going to Santo Domingo, Santiago, Jarabacoa, Puerto Plata, Punta Cana, La Romana? That's where we need a breakdown. Because out of that 35, how many are to which locations? Because that's how we got to get into the weeds a little bit, which might be on the article. So, hey, you know how we do it here. Let's just go look, right? That's what we do here. It's live. Don't let us fool you out here, ladies and gentlemen. We do it on demand. On demand. We'll go find out. We'll go down this hole. We have a lot of investors who invested in the DR. I'm more interested in, well, we won't know until another month what the numbers are for um, the tourists. Uh, last, they did not want to give out the numbers for May, and they didn't want to give out the numbers for June. They waited till July to give out May and June numbers, which is a travesty. Whenever you start doing things like that, tells me I start being skeptical on your numbers to begin with. Here we go. 35 Dominicans traveled within the country. Okay, here's what we really need to know. Okay, good. They spent. This is going to be very interesting, because now that I know that Dominicans' average income is only $11,500 annually, much for doing any traveling. But don't worry, on. Oh man, what happened? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. American. Wait, what? What happened? Uh-oh. Okay. I see we have a little problems here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to be able to read this. This is crazy. I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to have to. I can't show it. Um. Yeah, I got to clear this. I got to clear some things here. All right. Let's go. Here we go. The survey revealed uh, domestic travelers between 25 and 39 years old, with men making up 57.7% of travelers, while the Dominican Republic participation rate aligns with the regional standards, 30 to 40%, 64.9% of adults did not travel, signaling the need to include more segments of the population. Okay, so they have more, but again, they're not giving me anything that I like. Most trips were for vacations, 46.2%, family visits, 28%, work, 23% out of the 35%. Okay, so work, we're automatically taking out, I can't figure, out of the 35%, we're going to take out a fifth. So 7% is work. So we're down to 28%. Family visits is 28% of that. So that's another fifth. So that's two fifths, which a little over. And 40% are family visits. Huh. Okay, well, we're already at 46, 28. What is that? 64? No, 74. And 22 is 96. Most trips were for vacation. That's 96. So I got to figure out how they're doing this. All right. Between family homes and hotels. Okay. With accommodations split between family homes at 40%. So 40% of the 35% go to family homes. Hotels is 37%. So 37% of the 35%. But we don't know what the overall number is. So 35% doesn't mean anything unless we're talking about all Dominicans, which that would be like 3 point, I think 3 point, that'd be 3.5, and then 37% would be easily a mil if that's what they're saying. All right, that's quite possible. Isn't there 10 or 11 million people in Dominican Republic? So it could easily be a mil. I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing. That'd be the top 10% of the wealthiest. Makes perfectly good sense to me. So I think I'll assume the 35% is for all the island. So yeah, a million. I could see that. Noted that while local tourism is mostly low cost and socially driven, it has significant community value and economic potential. All right, so I'm just going to go with what we're off the top of the head. But here's the other thing: of those travelers, the 35% of who took their at least one trip, they 30% spent more than 10,000 pesos per person, primarily on vacations, obviously. So isn't that 140, somewhere around there? That's 150 per person, I think. Yeah, 6,000, isn't 6,000 pesos is $100. So that's 160, I believe. That's 160, I think. Pretty close. Um, why am I even messing around? Let's just do it this way. Let's just do it this way. Uh, DOP to US. Let's just do it this way. See if I'm right. 160. I think it's about 160. 165. I was close. I used $60, but I know it's 59, I guess. 58, 59. So it has to be in that ballpark. So that gives us the little extra whatever. But nonetheless, 165.40 is 10,000 Dominican peso. So it's 160 a person, which I that's not a lot. Yeah, so a million people, cool. We just can't tell which part of the island they're on, but a million people still going to spend money for tourism. Uh, I'm guessing they get an Airbnb. They're $50. A lot of places, $40, 50, 60. So that's easy. $100 a day to eat. That's easy to do too. So, yeah, I could see that. I could easily see that. So I like the numbers. Oh, I see somebody else was doing something too. Here we go. DR has 11.3 million. Let's say 30% of them traveled. That's almost 3.4 million people. So 35%. Yep, that's it. I wish I would have saw that. I was sitting there on the other screen doing numbers, and he already wrote it down faster than I. Yeah, I got to a million because of our numbers, but yeah, 1.2, same thing. I am calculating approximately 1.4 to 2 million is our local tourism target. Uh, post retirement travel, since you're doing calculations, give me an idea. What are you referring to? Which local tourism are you talking about? DR tourism? Because that, yeah, you got it right. It's 1 million to 1.2. So I agree with you on that number of 35%. But remember, those 35% is split. So where did the 1.2 million people go? Oh, well, we already found out the other part to the equation too, though. Only 37% of the 35% go to hotels. The other 40% go to family homes. So, which obviously 40% would probably be a good number. 22% go to work. So 63% is off the table. Family homes and work. So 37% out of the 35, which is our 1.2 number. So we are around 300 and some odd thousand. Or no, we're going to around 40 some thousand, I think. We're going to be around 450,000, 470,000 on 1.2, 37%. That's it. So there we go. In fact, I'll just do it right now so we can figure out the closer number times 37%. 444,000. So 450,000 will round up. So that's what we're getting on the island that would go to hotels or I'm assuming Airbnbs. And that's one person, right? So now, again, the odds of it being one person is slim. So we go two people. So we have to split. So that's really 225,000 if it's just two people on average. and you divide that by 12. Okay, divided by 2, 222, divided by 12. 18,500 per month. Then we divided by 4, 4,625 per week, distributed throughout the whole island. So this is negligible. If we go 10 of the places, Puerto Plata, Cabarete, La Romana, Santo Domingo, Santiago, Punta Cana, Jarabacoa, 7. So we'll do 7 locations. That's 70,000. Well, we don't know. We don't know where people go. So, but we can break it down. So that's it. That's it. Only 4,625 rooms distributed throughout the island. So per week. That's what it boils down to. Not a lot. So again, we're not going to get much from that for investors' sake, and nor should we, because we have a situation where the top 10% make the most money. They're already there. There's haves and have-nots. $1,000 per month, a little under that is what people make on average. So some people make 5 grand or 6 grand a month. Other people make 16, 17, 18 grand a month, 20, not a month, a year, not a month, a year. So that's it. There's not a lot of leeway for people to spend a lot of money to travel. And why would they? A liter is, what is it, $2 or something? That's almost the equivalent of what, like $5 a gallon or something? I mean, that's crazy. That's California prices. In a developing nation where people, the average wages for annually is 11 grand. The wage in Cali is not 11 grand. So their prices are $5, $6 a gallon of gas. Can you imagine a $1,000 per month as an average price, and you put gas in your car and it's $5 a gallon or something like that? That's crazy. Or 6. It's on an island. That's why. All right. Well, we got the numbers post retirement travel. That's pretty close from our estimations. That's close as we can get, man. I can't see it any better than that. Land based lover. No love there. Businesses in the house. The seamless genius is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And she brings her tagline, hey, boss and SSN fam, hello to you. Happy Friday. Just checking in. Very happy to see you checking in. I know you out here slaying dragons, doing what you got to do, because you got to get everything in order before the next collision happens between the have and the have-nots. And we only have a few, 1 hour, 1 year, 5 months left, according to my estimations. And you guys know I want you to be right early. We can't, it's going to be worse to be right later, because you're not going to be able to get right when things are crumbling down around you. Yes, yes, let's make money in here. That's what we're trying to do. We still at it, because you know money and credit crunch is coming. You know what's happening out there. You're in that biz, in that fray, and you know what it's like, wealth building the old-fashioned way. And I see I have old-fashioned way here. That's funny. The old-fashioned way. Hold on a second. Let me go get this straightened out. Just a minute. We got this all wrong. The old-fashioned way. Have to do it the old-fashioned way. Hard work. Passive incomes. Working for the income. Setting us up, gentlemen, to succeed. That's what we need here. All right. Very nice, seamless genius. I know you've been doing some crazy things over the last year or so. So if you want to share anything, with us here, because I know sometimes you have these awesome ideas that come to fruition, and a lot of people can, benefit from it. So if you have anything you want to share, please do so. We always get excited about that. So we got it. A little bit of crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin, Ethereum, gotta have it. Just a little cup of coffee, as we talked about on Wednesday. Of course, you got to have some stocks. Pick some of the blue chips, obviously. Google, Apple, Nvidia, Facebook. Just saying. Amazon, all these guys, they're able to make maneuvers because they have so much capital that they can deploy. So even if they're short in some area, they can just go buy another company for a few $1 billion. When you have thousands and thousands and thousands of stacks of $1 billion sitting around, offering somebody 10 billion, 50 billion is nothing to get their technology and to get that information so then you can improve yourself. That's what's happening now. That is the play, ladies and gentlemen. So again, don't be fooled out here. Do not be fooled. All right. Oh man, it's been busy. Credit is important. Oh yeah, we're going to need it even more because there's going to be a crunch. But those who have that 775 and up credit score, you guys will be able to maneuver and you'll be with the big boys. Even if you don't have cash, if you have a great credit score, when this crunch happens, you'll be one of the selected few that's going to be able to make things happen that can make you more money. So that's why we need you to be ready 1 year, 5 months from now. Take your time, get it together. All right. Get your debt reduced over a year and a half, year and 5 months. Make sure you do it. Just be aware, $2 a liter of gas. There you go. If you go to Poland, $7.50 a gallon. Oh my God. Oof. That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Outside of the US, we've been like spoiled because we're not on leaders, thankfully. Because if we were, we would have something like this too. It'd be $1.50, $2 a liter. And everybody'd be thinking, oh, that's no big deal. My God. Okay, here we go. So 37% of the 5%. Is that how you see it? Yep. So the 35% of 11.5 million is about 4 million. Okay. So 37% of that is about 1.5 million. Oh, all right. So not 1.2. All right. That's how I did the quick numbers. Yeah, that works. I like that too. I like that too. So you're going 35% of 11.5. I mean, yeah, 11.5 is 4 million. You're saying 4 million travel. I'm off. So then you're saying 37%, 1.5 million. Okay, I'll take that too. I like that too. That can work. But again, the gray area. I don't know what they're considering the 11.5 million are. Who are we talking? See, about Dominicans? Are we talking about Dominicans who visit outside the US and then who has family there? But we'll deal with the overall numbers. That's close enough. 1.5 is different because I did off of 1.2. So 37% go to hotels is what you're thinking. Fair enough. I divided by 2, so we have 750,000. The only reason I divided by 2 is because 2 people, not one. It's not, everybody's not single, and I know the number again on what the average amount of people are traveling. So it's probably not just one, but okay, 750. And then we have at least 7 different major locations that people would go. So that I know it's not even. I know it's not 100,000 each location, but we can't get any further along that line. But even if we have 750, we can keep it easy. 750 divided by 52 weeks, right? Um, that gets us our number per week average, anyhow. 750,000 divided by 52, 14,423 couples per week. And we have 7 locations. We have more than that. I mean, we have Las Terranas, we have Boca Chica. I mean, there's a bunch of areas, right? Bayibe, yes. La Romana, yes. Punta Cana, yes. Michis, yes. Cabarete, yes. I mean, there's offshoots, but that's 7, and we know it's not just or 14,000. That's not 7 places. So again, we're talking about 2,000 if we shared it. There's no way to quantify. I can't even guess how many people's going to Santo Domingo, Punta Cana, Puerto Plata, Santiago. I don't. I have no way to know. We can guess. We could guess that it follows the line of what we get from normal tourists, where Punta Cana's 1, Santo Domingo's 2, and 3 fluctuates. La Romana occasionally could be 3. Other times, Puerto Plata could be 3, but it's such a small number. It's like 2% or so. So there's no real way. But we can just break it down to a few thousand per location. That seems it. 14,000 on the whole island. So these are numbers when you break it down. And if the number's not 2, then it's even less. But I'll just go with 2. So that's negligible. But again, this is why we need higher tourist numbers. I mean, we need like another. I'll just put it this way: we need 10.5 in 2026 to make up for this. What's going to happen this year at 8.7, 8.9, whatever it ends up being. We're going to need 10.5 next year to offset this year for us investors, business owners, things like that in the DR. You're going to need this. These numbers aren't good. The number for the island is probably good based on their economic structure. Business, I'm working with nonprofits now. I get paid by putting their clients through my financial course. Business has a course now. Okay, I love it. I love it, but I know what happens when you have the course that flips into something else. Also, flipping products is very profitable, but buy in bulk, people are struggling. Exactly. Exactly. Flipping products, ladies and gentlemen. Some people may not know what she means. You guys want to get an idea on this? Got to do it the old fashioned way. Inflation is creeping up. Exactly, Joe Nay. It's going to keep going because the dollar is, the value of the decreases, which automatically means inflation by default is going to cost every American more to buy the same goods in the value. So that's an inflation that way. And then the real numbers, when the CPI index comes out and they go, oh, it's 2.9 year over year. Okay, but we're not going to include insurance, rent, food, energy. We're not going to include none of that because then it's going to be something crazy 8%, 9% year over year. And then when you lose 10% value of your currency, now it's 19%. So when people go to the store and they're like, what are they talking about 3%? That's why it's not 3%. It's really like 10 to 15, 20. So that makes more sense when you go to the store and you see something, right? You look at it and you're like, man, I could have sworn that thing was like $5. Or why is it $7 now? Or what is this? Do I have the right product here? Just like when I was in Cali and I saw some turkey, and it was 10 pounds of turkey, and it's $10 all the time. Even right, it's back in Georgia, it's $10. In Cali, 15, 50% increase. Crazy. So that's the type of stuff that people don't realize. You see it, but you don't go, hey, that was 20% increase. That's 40% increase. It's happening. And there's another factor that nobody talks about generally is the factor of currencies. If a lot of products come from outside the United States, so if you have a tariff of 15%, with this is what's happening in America right now. You have a tariff of 15% against the country. That product comes here. That's 15% added on the price because the importer has to pay that 15% difference. Now your currency devalued 10%. Then you tell us inflation is 7%. Well, 2.9. Food and energy included is 3.4 more. So you're around 7%. So in reality, it's 15 plus the 10 for the currency devalued, 10% lost value of 10. So that's 25 and 7. That's 32%. So now when it hits the store, you see 30% increase. That's why it's disingenuous when they do these numbers talking about it's 2.9%, 2.7% year over year, 3%. You wouldn't notice 3%. If you went to the store and something's $5, and the next thing you know, it's $5.10, $5.15, you're not going to know that. That nobody would be bitching about something going up 30, 40, 50 cents. That's not what's happening. Stuff is going up dollars, not 20 cents, not 10 cents, not 5 cents. This is not even hard to figure out. You can go to the store. Every time you go, you're looking at like these crazy numbers. Hey, and AKA Victor, how's the traveling going? Do you notice any differences in price? The reason I'm laughing is because Biznessa, here's what's happening. Since our dollar currency is worthless, if you go to the EU, you got to pay $1.17 for the same $100. So it costs $117. That's just crazy. This is crazy. Oh man. Yeah, so you can't have dollars, but then again, if you exchange it, it's costing you 117 to 1. $17 to 1. It's like we're the third world country right now. It's bad. But again, outside the US is cheaper than here. That's all I can say. I mean, made a killing on Nvidia, bought it 95 a share. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. She was here then. She heard the call. Everybody on that call was like, hey, it dropped under 100. It's at 95. It was at 90. You got to buy it now. Congratulations. You do know the killing was made. She made the F. She did it perfect. I love to hear this. She's won, ladies and gentlemen. See what happens when you miss the live streams? We were all talking about it in April when it happened. And now 170, 171, 72, 73. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? 95 and 95 is 180. Almost doubled the money. And in fact, in the next 3 months, it will be double. It will hit 180. We got to love it. Right on, Biznessa. I'm happy that you got in. And as you may or may not know, because I know you're busy, the Banks of America, the Goldman Sachs, the analysts have all said target price for NVIDIA is $200 to $250. That's right. And they're not talking about like this year. They're just saying that's the target price over the next couple of years. Well, the way it's moving and the way AI is a thing, and the Trump regime said They can sell H2O chips to China. AMD can sell chips to China. So they're back in business with that. That's why there's a little pop that happened there. That didn't even include their 200 to 250 range. Some said 200, some said 225. Others, there was a highest one said 250, but they're in between 200 and 250. That did not include the sales to China. So you have to assume that it's actually a little higher than 200 now. That's what I would assume, right? But either way, it still has room to grow, and it's going to grow. It's going to grow. So congratulations. This is special. This is what we like to see. Those who have it under $100, again, I had to buy to get under 100 because I was over 100. And when it went to 87, 88, 89, I think it was 88, 89 when I can get it. EV Place was at 86, 85 late night. He got in on $85 and something to get his dollar cost down. That was the only way we could do it. When it was at 52-week lows, you should have been buying some. And all it takes is a few. Even if it was $500 and it was only 4 or 5 shares. But that 500 is now going to be worth close to 1,000. It's a little under right now. In only 3 months, April, May, June, July, 3 months. That's a good, pretty picture. And hopefully it continues, and it should continue for the next year. Remember, they're going to buy $3 billion worth of their stock. They already started last year, and they said it's going to go through, I think it was till 2026. So they're, I guess, maybe $1 billion a year. So that's propping up their stock as well. And other people buying it. And option income money coming. We're loving life, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The ting, ting, ting tonight. Eggs, inflation, 100% EV Place. You know what's funny? In Georgia, 18 eggs, large, 349. Just saying, back to norm. But in Cali, no, it was it was like $15. $15.89 for a dozen eggs. Now that was a few months back, but that was outrageous. Needless to say, no eggs were coming home. And my turkey for 50% more, that wasn't coming home. I said, okay, let me get some alternatives in. Because that was outrageous. Now it's back down to $10 for my 3 pounds of turkey that I get. And of course, no antibiotics, no chemicals, no nothing. Just saying. All right. But I'm very happy for you, Biznessa. This is great news. Great to hear. This is what we're here for with the winners. Trucker Trey, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. I know he's happy. What's up, E? I'm doing good. I know you're doing good because you got the bing, bing, bing messages late night tonight, right before the live stream started. So that's awesome. So I know you doing it as well, man. Biznessa, yes, nice to hear from you again. Great. I assume you have the storage space to secure all these products. Congratulations with NVIDIA. That's a must-have stock. Exactly. Exactly right. There's no way around that. AMD, listen to, you know what? I went to go look at AMD. AMD is surging as well because they also get to sell chips to China. They're at 160. How is AMD right behind NVIDIA's stock price? This is incredible. Incredible. They both are surging. This is awesome to see. Awesome to see. Just so everybody knows, there's more than one semiconductor. SMCI went down to $17. We were talking about it here. Somebody asked, do you think it's a good time to purchase? That was the best time to buy. We said it then. And now it's up to around $70 per share. And we're talking about this just happened in the last 7-8 months. Just saying. It was worth a flyer at 17. Congratulations. Once again, there's always something in the stock market that you can take advantage of. You just have to be with a lot of people. So if somebody says something, we were on top of the SMCI back then, the NVIDIA, some things, well, I think everything's pretty much gone up. Even Max ETFs have gone up from this year's lows, which is incredible. Can you believe that you can get 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% return distribution wise, and the stock price is staying within a range? That's what we want. It's a beautiful thing. The only bad news is if this goes south, just don't forget your VIX if things go south. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Sir, I have a question. Ice in my cereal. I love it. You know, I don't mind questions. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Go ahead. It's open. You don't have to even ask. Just write it down. If I got to block you, I got to block you. Sorry, man. No. Thanks, you guys. I listened. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's right. That's all it takes. It's action. But it's hard with money. You know, when 80% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck, every dollar counts. You got to, hey, some people didn't want to take but they're sitting there going, man, I could have doubled my money. Anybody who bought it 90, 95, you're going to be awfully close, doubling your money. And if you have a dollar cost average at the unthinkable from 2 years ago when we were talking, when it was like $40 a share, man, and it's already up and split, oh my, you are really loving life. Well, you're welcome, business. I'm just happy you were here. You got to be here, got to be in the game, right? You can sit on the sideline and watch the parade go by, but that's a hefty parade to get that type of return in less than 5 or 6 months. It's pretty crazy. Absolutely. We just got back from Europe, Turkey, and Croatia. Just so you know, it's cheaper to eat out every day in Turkey and buying Walmart here. We're being robbed here. So stupid. Exactly. That's why I had to laugh. Once you go around the different countries and then you come back to America, it's a stark difference. You will notice it. If you go to a tourist areas generally cost more. So you don't really know. You're like, okay, you see a little bit of less price, but it's not major. It's when you hang out and actually go around and you're in the countryside or not in the tourist zone and you go out and you're with normal citizens and you go to the store and you're looking at there and I literally myself, I just stare at it. I'm like, does that really say $1.50 for stuff that I'm buying for $4 and $5 in America? I just literally just stand there because I'm looking around like this has to be the wrong thing. It can't be the same thing that we're buying in America. Less the bad stuff inside that's banned that you can't sell in that country. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know that either. There's food preservatives we have that in a large percentage of the rest of the world is not allowed in their food. So you'll see our brand names in another country, little slightly different packaging, but they don't have like red dye number 8, right? They don't have a lot of stuff that's banned. And that's crazy too. That's sad as well, knowing that your government actually is trying to kill you. Make sure you go to the hospital and see a doctor. Just think about it. Other countries are saying we can't have this. No, you can't sell your product in our country because you have 10 products on the ban list. No, not going to kill our citizens. We have universal health care. We don't want to spend government dollars. See, it's reverse. We don't want to spend government dollars to make sure people are sick. Why would we? We're paying for the health care. Obviously, we have no interest. We want you to be healthy, live forever, because that way we have less expenses. We don't want you unhealthy like in America because they want to make sure the insurance gets paid, hospitals, doctors, and the whole thing, all of the equipments and things like this, all on the payroll. Whereas if the government gave the health care, guess what would happen? Do you know? Oh my God. I'll just say it. You know what would happen if our government did like Canada and the other 30, 40, 50 developed nations included healthcare for all? Do you guys understand that all small businesses, that now would not be a thing? Everybody's covered. So now the business has less business expenditures because there's two things. Even if your company doesn't give out healthcare, now all of a sudden, all the people that get sick who aren't under a healthcare plan, they now have to say, I got to go see the doctor, I got to go do this, and they're going to be ill for longer. Now think about, people are not ill, so now you don't lose your employees sick days. Sick days are going to be less. They're not going to be more because people aren't going to be as sick. So your workforce, percentage wise, is going to have more, a closer number to 100% of people being there. See, people don't understand that's the other side of the coin. So as long as we continue to be like a third world country, well, insurance is going to squeeze us and everything's going to implode sooner or later. All right, that's why you got to get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Do it the old fashioned way, just like Biznessa. Investments matter. I buy electronic, I flip to my buyers as soon as I get them. Quick turnaround, but I would recommend a storage space for other things. Exactly. Exactly. I hear you for that. I like what she's doing. You know what? Why don't I just give you guys some stuff? This has become a hot property, but you know what she's doing? She's in LA. She has a huge advantage. She gets down to these warehouse sales, some of these Amazon, Home Depots. It could be Walmart, electronic bins, discountlots.com, for instance. I don't think they're in LA, but I'm just saying, I know there's distribution centers in LA, in SoCal, tons. And that means she has access to some things that other people don't because some of that's not online. You have to be there, ladies and gentlemen. But for everybody who does online and discount lots is one. Oh, sorry. That's real estate. That's funny. Discount lots. Uh, dis. Hold on. Distribution. Oh my God. I'm filing a blank because I'm thinking real estate. Um. Uh. Something depot. Oh Jesus. Uh. Discount. Wait. Hold on a second. That's funny. Um. Okay. Hold on. I want to say it's not. It's liquidation depot. Hold on. I think that's one. That is one. I know it is. Liquidation depot is one. Let me go look this up. Look, depot. Pretty sure that's one of them. You can be online. At least I thought it was. Uh, okay, hold on. Yeah, it is. Marietta, Georgia, Liquidation Depot. That's one of them. And they have one in Port St. Lucie, Oshkosh, Foley. So, once again, by the way, you guys, you can go to Marketplace on Facebook. Some people have pallet sales that they get in. And that's how they flip it quick, like business talking about. They buy stuff off Liquidation Depot, for instance, and they get like pallets. They turn around and add on a little bit of money, and they actually market it on Facebook Marketplace. People have all kind of ways to get rid of it, and as you know, electronics is one of them. Um, there's several others. I did a video on this like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, probably. Liquidation Depot was the easiest one for me to remember. So I just can't remember all of them. Um, direct liquidation is another. Um, let's see. Hold on. Yeah, there's a ton. You can do it from your home, but it's always better if you can do it in person. It's always better. Oh, bulk liquidation, bluebird liquidation, bulk liquidation. There's all kinds. Um, yeah, there. Look at this. I'm looking at Matt's warehouse deals, which is funny. This is in Georgia, so all these people are going up probably the discount liquidation depot. They're probably going up there Walmart liquidations, and they're getting them there and then posting it up. Like I said, that's a quick flip because you're getting it at the cheapest price. Then somebody else gets it. That's what you should do. It's like wholesale. All right. Wow, Victor, I'm not surprised. The cost of living here is insane. Exactly. It is. It is. It really it's remember the other countries don't have world currency. So they can't just willy-nilly print money. They can't just do this bond stuff and print more money and create these deficits because if they did what we do, their currency goes from 5 to 1 to 10 to 1 to 20 to 1. And so you can't just do what we do. So that's why the rest of the world has a confinement area. US has no confinement, as illustrated with the Genius Act, doing some sort of stable. No other country would do this. That's a suicide for your currency. So now United States is doing it, which is suicide for our currency. But since we have world currency, they're just ignoring the fact. I don't know what school of economics the GOP party, which is controlling this, went to, but apparently all these people who allegedly went to Harvard and Yale and Ivy League schools and went to the best schools and went, I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. I do know what they're doing. I shouldn't say that. I know what they're doing. They're basically robbing the country as they are also in the top 5% of the wealthiest people in the country. And so they're robbing every piece of everything they can get their hands on. Right now, it's taking away Medicare and Medicaid from that fund to give tax cut, tax breaks, and monies and subsidies and all this to the rich, their buddies who own corporations. That's where this really is going. So the haves and the have nots is going to get bigger. Business of vodka, tonic, and turkey in Croatia is about $1.50 to $2. Here in Orlando will cost you $12. And you get a cup full of ice, exactly. You come back pissed off. That's how I got to tell you, that's how I am. You got to know where you live. And once you wrangle with that, right? At first, I come back pissed every time, but I'm not pissed anymore. When I come back, I just go, okay, this is where we're going. And that's why you have to say you should have some presence in another country because America's a whole nother animal. We're the only ones that can do this. It's like when we lose our currency, then we'll be like Europe. Then it's going to be more like, okay, it'll be a have and a have nots. But at least whatever you have, you have. It's not like you're going to lose it. But now the disparity between the have and the have nots, it'll start doing this, but the haves will still be up here. And the movement to get here is different. You won't be able to move as quickly. So, but you won't be freaking destitute either because now assets matter. For whatever your family has will matter more. And that's the difference. So now your inflation numbers can't be out by your government. Your job, everybody, the wages have to be close to livable wages because otherwise you can't pay for your corporation's goods. And then your corporations go out of business. You don't get to print money out of thin air and have the Federal Reserve say, yeah, you can keep winning. Here's an interest only loan for $10 million. No, you can't do that. So that's what the difference is. So that's why outside of the country, things are, hell yeah, we buy stuff from China. We're not going to block stuff from China. Hell yeah, we're going to get stuff from Vietnam and Thailand. Why are we going to block that? They're not on world currency. They're not printing money. They have to get their citizens to be able to live. That's why I was talking about the other day about solar on the video I made today that came out today. I was saying on the solar part, it's kind of like you want solar in America. It's $30,000 and up, and then they have rules you can't have 100% coverage. So then they have rules about how much can you store, right? You can go to DR right now and for 10 grand have the whole system hooked up with inverters, with power packs. Done. 10 grand. Why? Because they allow the stuff from China to come in. They won't allow that in America. And the rest of the world enjoys this too. So when the rest of the world's going green, that's because their green cost way less than our green for American citizens. So sure, people are more gun-ho. They're going to be like, yeah, I can get everything done for like 10 Gs, 8 Gs, 5 Gs, 12 Gs. Done. And 100% coverage and be off the grid. See, that's a big difference. Those things there is what makes things happen. $1.50, huh? Unbelievable. Here in the States, yeah, it's 12 to 20 bucks. Yeah, it's 12 to 20. I mean, that's crazy. How do you market yourself? Social media, Instagram, etc. You're right, boss. Walmart, etc. Distribution companies, get your seller's permit and it's on. There you go. Yeah, in California, it's kind of easy because, well, it's easy in a lot of places. But here's the thing. California is different. See, this is what people don't understand. California, Texas, they're different. The reason why distribution points, Miami, New York, boats, airplanes, distribution centers. There's business to be done at that location. So, in other words, right now, Amazon send things out. Amazon has free returns on a lot of things. Where do the returns go? Who gets them? They get some returns back, and they could easily just be going to a warehouse distribution where people can come buy it in bulk because they're like, well, we don't want to go back through it. It's not worth it for us to go back through it because now what do we look like? We're going to refurbish. Are we going to check it out? We're going to take the time to check it out, make sure it works. That's manpower. That's hours. And we're getting thousands of units back a day of product. We have to have people deal with that. But it would be a whole lot easier if all we had to do was put it in a bin and tell people this is electronics, and this bin is household goods, and this bin is pharmaceutical. That takes a lot less time, and we now put it up for sale, and people give us money for it because employee cost is a lot more than doing what we're talking about here, putting it all in. All electronics go here, all home goods go here, furniture goes here. That's a lot easier separation than to sit there and sort through it, see if it works. Da da da. No, goes in the bin. Put it up for sale. Somebody's going to give me 200, 300, 1,000, 800. Done. So it was worth it to stack. That's the $1 million question. Is a lot of people say they get like people have the Temu thing. Temu has a warehouse for distribution center in America now. They have people send it back. They go, man, they told me not to send it back. They said keep it. I said, exactly. Because it costs more money. They have to pay for the shipping. Then when they get it, they're paying employees to sort it and see if it works. So it's not even worth it. So of course they're going to say keep a few items. It's not worth it to them. Same rules apply. That's why there's an ecosystem. As she's saying, Walmart distribution companies, get your seller's permit. That's correct. That's all you need. And if you have a seller's permit, they generally have an LLC too. What the hell? You used to be able to get a seller's permit in California without having an LLC. You could do a DBA, but I don't know if they still allow that. I'm doing electronics, so I have buys ready. But yes, you can place on eBay, Facebook, Marketplace, etc. Exactly. Exactly. So she's getting discounts. So, and she says she sees this is what I'm saying. The seamless genius always has some. If you already have a way to distribute what you've already bought, that is the best way and the quickest way to sell and the best way to keep profits coming in. In other words, if I have to, every day you hold it is actually cost. Cost of holding is a thing. A lot of people realize this. So they'll say, well, I bought this for $500 and each one of these items in the bin, I'm going to hold off and I want $20 for this. I want $10 for that. I want $50 for that. Well, each day you're holding it, that's a cost. Whether you tell me, oh, it's at my house, it's still a cost. Why? Every day that you're not flipping it means that's no profit coming in. The cost of living rose today, and now you can't go buy another product to make more profit. There's a cost. Just like a house right now, when people are saying, I want this high price because I think my house is worth 600,000 when it's worth 500. And then every month they're sitting there paying their mortgage. Every month they're paying their insurance bill. Every month they're maintaining and upkeeping. That's a cost, but people don't realize it. Same as in business, it's a cost. So flipping it faster for less of a profit is better than to hold out and waste a month, a year, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You want to flip it. Very good, Biznessa. Another idea I got, boss. You're a Cali kid. Do you remember Thrifty Ice Cream? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. No more Rite Aid to buy the ice cream scoops like a void to me. This is true, but I don't know how you're going to pull this one off. But ladies and gentlemen, if she's going to pull off something, she always has a loop. It's incredible what her mind comes up with. Post retirement travel, something different. I noticed this time in Europe. Don't assume they'll take your mighty US dollars. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can forget that, man. Just get rid of the dollars. If you try to pay with dollars, they'll look at you like, what do you want me to do with this? Exactly. Yeah. I don't even use dollars. I basically go to the ATM machine, pull out the euros, or just use my card because don't even bother with US dollars. Just they're worthless. He's right. Actually, it's always been like that. Well, not I shouldn't say always been like that. What I'm trying to say is in today's environment, it's going to be like that. Back then, I mean, it was closer to even. Now it's $1 gets you $100 means $117. 100 US is wait, it's reverse. So it's really like you're giving them $83. That's what it's like. You give them $100 bill, they're like, that's $83. What are you doing? We need 17 more dollars, please. That's what it's like. We need 17 more dollars, please. So we need 17 more US dollars, please, to make it level. So they're like, why are we playing with this funny money? Just get euros. Just get euros. But yeah, well, if you're not in the major city, it's always been an issue. Well, kind of an issue. But again, it all depends. Remember the euros for a reason. The currencies of the other countries weren't doing that good singularly. So then they said, well, why don't we go together and create a euro? Remember, that's how the euro got started. So the basket of currencies ends up being a euro for all those countries to make it strong. And then UK did the dumbest thing ever. Brexit. So now they're on their standalone currency. Yeah. I don't know what they were doing. They were smoking crack. Um, I believe post retirement travel, especially now around the world, the U.S. dollar is like nobody wants to see that. All right, because I've been on these items. Sometimes I have my buyers ready. Exactly. Right. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. But I want to know about this ice cream. Hey, Victor, do European countries deal with crypto payments? Yeah. Yeah, easily. Easily. They have stores. I mean, they have exchanges, crypto exchanges and everything. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. As far as I know, the EU zone still doesn't have restrictions because they're regulated. So they still take a euro though. So that's it's not China. It's euro, crypto, gold, silver, platinum, palladium. So it's all good, just like in America. Well, I shouldn't say just like in America. America doesn't have those stores, crypto exchanges. So not quite. But I want to hear about the ice cream before we go. I'm going to wrap this up because I've been on here 2 hours and 22 minutes on this. A very, very nice. And hey, I didn't get this question earlier. Who was that was asking? He was going to say, "What? I got a question. Did I miss the question, sir? I have a question." That was 34 minutes. 34 minutes ago. Did I miss the question? Did somebody see this question that this person asked? It was I. What was it? Oh, hold on. Let me go. 34 minutes ago. Ice in my cereal. Yeah, I don't. This right here, sir. I have a question. I didn't see any question. Did I miss it? Damn, he didn't ask the question. Unless you guys can see it in the chat, then I missed it. But that was like 35 minutes ago. All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up. Let's see. You can buy. Oh wait, what's this? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, hold on. What's this? Thrifty is still in business. You can buy pints, gallons, etc., but no one is scooping on cones anymore. Thrifty ice cream still in business? Are you kidding me? Where? Find yourself a nice crypto exchange service store and exchange your crypto for their local currency. That's the store our friend promised us he was going to build in Africa and Europe. Yeah, that's the one Miracle was supposed to do in Cyprus. Crypto stores, which the EU allows. Now, I don't know about Africa. Well, we know EU. EU, you can have crypto stores. Africa, I don't know what their rules are. But Africa need their currencies are all jacked up. But that's because they sell thrifty ice cream in the supermarkets. So someone could start a truck or storefront. They don't. Okay, I is this like an LA thing? Because I haven't seen thrifty ice cream in a long time. Nor I don't even know what it tastes like anymore. Is it any good? I mean, is it all natural now, or do they? What are we doing with it? I'm gonna have to go check this out. This is crazy. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Thrifty, thrifty ice cream. near me. You know what it said, Lake Havasu? Wow. Elmont Thrifty Ice Cream Factory is in El Monte, California. Are you kidding? What? Are you kidding me right now? What happened to Thrifty Ice Cream? That's incredible. Thrifty Ice Cream Plant. It's in El Monte, California. A tour of the 50-year-old Thrifty Ice Cream Factory. Wait, wait. Tucked in an industrial pocket between the I-10 freeway and Rosemead Boulevard, the Thrifty Ice Cream Plant has been churning out millions. No, 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 no. Are you kidding me? No, 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 no. It's in LA. El Monte since 1976. What? So what they launched in 1940 at a small factory in West Hollywood. Thrifty drugstore in downtown LA. That's correct. That is correct. Unbelievable. They still make thrifty ice cream. Are you serious? I love it. I'm going to find out more about this. Yes, sir. They're here in Cali. Just no one sells it on cones anymore. Nope. You don't see cones in the city, but you don't even see it. How do they sell it? I mean, is there anybody that actually has like a soda fountain, a place where you sell thrifty ice cream other than at the grocery store? Or do they even still sell in the grocery store? Partners. I'm at thriftyicecream.com. SoCal might get jealous. We're welcoming new distributors, retailers, and ice cream shops to help us. Oh, they're trying to. Oh wow, they're trying to add new business, a comeback, so to speak. But like you said, the ice cream, new birthday cake flavor. Okay, all right, here we go. Flavors. So they're still making ice cream. Blueberry, butter pecan, chocolate. Okay, we're gonna need a makeup on this. We're gonna need a makeup. Our rich, buttery flavored ice cream and bits. Okay, what do we got here? Hey, damn it. 18 grams of carbs, 15 grams of sugar. That's 33 freaking grams. Yikes. Oh, it's 9 servings per container. Eeks. Eeks. I can't. I can't. Oh my. No, can't have it. Too much sugar. Contains milks, pecans. Okay. Diglyceride, cellulose, gargum. Yeah, I mean, I can eat it. I mean, but it's 33 grams of sugar for every two-third cup. Sheesh. And you can't just eat one cup, ladies and gentlemen, because this stuff tastes hella good. Wow, I can't even believe this. Next time I go to LA, guess what? I'm stopping. Do they still have stores there in LA? Yes, sir, here in Cali. I mean, where do you get thrifty ice cream? Where? I mean, at the grocery store? Must be. Next time I'm in LA, I'll check it out. I can get myself a couple of scoops. I can have sugar. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, you guys got a little something from tonight's discussion. And don't forget to share the videos. Make sure you stay safe out here. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And oh, by the way, it was Friday night. I forgot it was story night and I didn't give any stories really. All right, that ice cream. That ice cream is delicious. It's like crack. Yeah, I know. Rite Aid Pharmacy used to sell it on cones, but Rite Aid is now closed. Exactly. So where do they have it? Yes, yes, I have a wonderful idea, but it's hush hush. Uh-oh. Here we go. Yes, I think that was Cyprus. That's correct. In fact, whatever happened to that Joker? Well, they changed to Bellator, which was weird because it's the same as that. I think it was MMA or something, right? But yeah, they're calling themselves Bellator now. And then they're trying to use the same old tactics. Different way. Oh, we're going to tokenize with the real estate. Then it went away. They're just changing to something else. I lost track because everything was you have to change the coin to something else, change that coin to something else. Oh, we're going to be on this network now. Then it's going to be on this one. Now they're on, uh, or not on it yet, but they're moving to a different network. It's, I can't remember. Starts with an A. Can't remember. Anyhow, it starts with an A. That's what chain they're going to be on now. So it's ridiculous. We're still pending reimbursement. That was another Hector and Drip coin. Yep, exactly. We took a big L there. Yeah, 100% failure on all crypto projects. Remember, a year, 2.5 years ago, after those L's, we said BTC and ETH because everything went 100% died. Miracle changed their way of doing things 5 times now. Debtbox changed the way they were doing things 3 times, and then all of a sudden, nothing. Then they go, oh, we switched to Hello or some other BS. But then, of course, they took away the we make money from this stuff after the SEC decided, hey, you're saying you have this stuff, prove it. So they went all L's all the time. But that's why BTC and ETH is where we said get a little bit every week. You'll be good when it was only 50 grand, 40 grand, 30 grand. Now it's 117. So people have 5x their money or 6x their money, which is a good thing if they stayed with BTC and ETH. But yeah, all of that stuff was L, 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 no matter what. And now here we are where the government says we have the Genius Act, but we want certain people to be able to do stable coins. Well, that's not mom and pops. So again, trying to do something, leaving the little guys out. All we can do is put our money into BTC and ETH. That's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up. Very nice to know about Thrifty. Very nice to see each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your support. Like I said, I love you guys very much, and for your support, thank you. And with all that said, be safe out here. Don't let anybody get in your ear about doing anything because you never know what somebody else is out here is doing. Supermarkets, Vons and Ralph's. Okay. Oh, I know. Yeah, guys, we took a loss on that mess with that investment. Exactly, all of it. Even the other one too. I was just thinking about it tonight with uh God, what was that? In Instavid, AI, another L, all of it L's. So that's why we have to do it the old fashioned way, ladies and gentlemen. Stock, real estate, business, the old fashioned way. Earn it. We can't go on the high flyers because now your duffel bag of cash is more important than ever. You can't take any more L's. We got to try to take wins only. No more high risk, high rewards. Everything has to be for sure coming back your investment. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We took the L's. You can't win them all. Nobody should think that you can win all the time. All right. You're not going to win all the time. It's a science experiment every time. You invest to see what type of return you're going to get. That is a science experiment. And hopefully it works out. And you study and figure out if this is what you want to invest in. You have to do it the old fashioned way now. You have 1 year, 5 months to do it. But just stay safe out here. Make sure, because people are under stress and duress. So they may act weird. You don't have to be one of them. And with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And keep your heads up. Keep moving. And out.